Denmark, located north of Germany and south of Norway, this country is one of the most prosperous in Western Europe. It is one of the many countries in Europe to have a constitutional monarchy as its established style of government. Aside from having a queen as the head of state, Denmark also is considered to be a representative democracy, using a parliamentary system. This makes Denmark's prime minister the head of government. While the United States legislature is known as Congress, Denmark's parliament is known as the Folketing. First established in 1849, it was once a two-chamber legislature with both sides having equal power. Over time, Denmark's second chamber, the Landsting, was restricted to the wealthy, and representatives were appointed by the monarch. In 1953, everything changed. Based on a nationwide popular vote, Denmark adopted a new constitution, which turned the Folketing into a one-chamber parliament. Consisting of 179 seats, the Danish parliament would be made up of representatives from across Denmark, Greenland, and the Faroe Islands. According to the new constitution, proportional representation would determine the number of seats a political party would receive. Here's how it works. There are 17 districts in Denmark. Every 4 years, an election is held to determine which parties will represent a district. 135 of the 179 seats are given to these parties, who receive a large percentage of the vote. This is called the D'Hondt method of proportional representation. The remaining 40 supplementary seats are allocated to even out the district and nationwide vote. In other words, these 40 seats are to balance the differences between how a district votes compared to the entire country. The remaining 4 seats are saved for representatives from both Greenland and the Faroe Islands. Denmark has a party threshold of 2%. This means that if a political party receives less than that, they will not obtain seats in parliament. The prime minister is determined by the composition of the Folketing. Generally, he or she is a person who leads a party coalition, which is an alliance between political parties who share similar beliefs. The current prime minister is Lars Rasmussen as of 2009. His job is to oversee and run the Danish parliament. He is one of 19 ministers who are in charge of different departments called ministries. These ministries are in charge of anything from defense to education. Rasmussen is the most important minister who actually has the power to remove other ministers. But to keep his power in check, Parliament can remove him or any prime minister at any time with the vote of no confidence. As mentioned earlier, Denmark's constitution can be amended. The Constitutional Act of 1953 outlined a specific procedure to do so. First, 2 consecutive parliaments must receive a majority vote to change the Constitution. 1 vote before the election and a second vote after the election. Once Parliament receives 2 majority votes, the public gets a say. A special election would be held for all citizens 18 and older to vote in favor or against the new constitutional ideals. The vote requires not only a majority in favor, but at least 40% of the voting population participating in the election. Once everything falls into place and the country agrees on amending the Constitution, the new changes would become law and placed into the new Constitution. Overall, Denmark is mostly a consensual government. It uses a special method of proportional representation to obtain as many voices in the Folketing as possible. It disperses governmental powers over many people, and the Constitution is rigid enough to be taken seriously, yet can be amended to adjust the way Danish government operates. Denmark is a prime example of how a consensual style of government works in the 21st century world.